Blessing Zezai. Doc, stand up and wave to colleagues. We have representation from IOL, Mr. Eino Akonka. Sir, may I request that you stand up and wave? If you are online, just say hello. He is on his way. He's not late, he's just delayed. We also have River Higher Institute of Technology, represented by Dr. Linda Lukolo, Ms. Tariro Dewa, and Ms. Ndilimeke Haujojo. Can we stand and wave to colleagues? Thank you. I also want to acknowledge the presence of the media's Ombudsman, Dr. Sadrag Panduleni Shihomeka. Doc, thank you. We have our postgraduate research officers and coordinators for Aphein members who are the center who have made this day possible. May I see their hands up? I think some of them I've mentioned from our sister institutions. Dr. Elock, Shikalepo. Thank you. I also want to acknowledge our delegates from private and public institutions who are present here and online. And we have academics, industry partners, and stakeholders. Our dear students, I know we have a lot of postgraduate students as shown on the speakers list. We want to thank you for making this possible. And we have members of the media and our marketing departments. They have been very active and vibrant to make the world know of this conference. We have the presence of our radio colleagues. We are also having the future media here with us. And all of us, ladies and gentlemen, physical as well as online. I welcome you all. I hope we share the same excitement that I have today to see Aphein growing and growing and growing. I was talking to the director for postgrad and research yesterday, asking him, when was this established? I really wanted to know also a lot about this Aphein. And I'm telling you, this year we are celebrating 10 years after establishment. Let's clap hands for Aphein. And like I said at the beginning, that it is really amazing when we come together to collaborate, to grow together, to hold each other's hand. We are not competitors. And I'm sure Aphein is a testimony of that as private institutions, we always hold each other's hand, and we are hopeful for the greater future. Okay, we are gathered here, and I feel very much honored. I've spoken too much without introducing myself. Okay, standing before you is Dr. Blessing Tafirenyika. I'm the acting director of the Graduate School of Business, and I feel very much honored to speak on this plenary session, just to have an official opening and set the tone for our conference. So, as we gather here, we are here to explore and exchange ideas on how we can forge a sustainable and inclusive tomorrow. So we have a great lineup of speakers, as you can see on our program, and we are going to hear a lot of things, provoking ideas. Some are going to take us even to more thinking space on how we can really push forward the sustainable and inclusive tomorrow. And I look forward to some surprises too. Yes, it's not going to be an ordinary event, so let's embrace and look forward to the best. Without taking much time, I think I will allow us to be welcomed officially. I've welcomed you just as a speaker, but I am hosting you. We have our Vice-Chancellor, Prof. Osmund Mwandemele, who is going to officially welcome you to IUM. Prof, I welcome you.
You're running away from your place. Good morning. Good morning. Professor Charles Makanyeza, Vice-Chancellor of Academic Affairs, Research and Innovation, Dr. Hendrina Ujombala, Vice-Chancellor for Administration and Management, Dr. Sadrag, Panduleni, Shihomeka, Media Ombudsman, Dr. Elock, Shikalepo, Chairperson of the Conference Organizing Committee, and serving as the Director of Postgraduate Studies and Research at IUM, Deans, Directors here present, distinguished invited guests, esteemed participants, dear students, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. Once again, good morning. It is indeed a great pleasure and privilege for me, on behalf of the IUM founder and chairman of the Governing Council, Honorable Professor Dr. David Richard Namwandi, who is also the chairman of the Governing Council and the chairman of the Executive Committee of Aphein. Also on behalf of the entire IUM community, and indeed on my own behalf, to warmly welcome you to this two-day Aphein National Research Conference hosted by IUM. Ladies and gentlemen, today marks yet another significant milestone in the collective journey of Namibia's private higher education sector. Through Aphein, our institutions are demonstrating a shared commitment to scholarship, collaboration, and innovation in addressing national and global challenges that confront our societies. I'm also happy to learn that this conference is also attended by academics and researchers from the two public universities and other institutions countrywide. This indicates our collective and shared vision and mission towards shaping the future of our country and the Sadrag region and beyond. As the Vice-Chancellor of IUM, I am particularly proud that this conference is being hosted by our university. As you all may know, research serves as a powerful tool that enables researchers to play an important role in the production of new knowledge needed for development, transformation, and nation building. That is the key role played by universities worldwide. Our role is to generate knowledge, to catalyze the development of nations. And if we fail to do that, truly speaking, we do not deserve to exist as institutions of higher learning. The theme of this year's conference, Forging a Sustainable and Inclusive Tomorrow, is indeed very futuristic and provides a timely opportunity to engage in critical discourse and to strengthen the research culture within higher education institutions. It also reinforces our shared understanding that quality research and evidence-based policy formulation are key to driving Namibia's socio-economic development, growth, and competitiveness in the global knowledge economy. Madam Chairperson, ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to note that the conference has attracted a diverse range of papers and presentations from various institutions across the country. This will provide an opportunity for the exchange of ideas, which will enhance our institutions' collective capacity to contribute meaningfully to national development, sustainable innovation, and human capital growth. Let us, therefore, use this platform to build stronger linkages between academia, industry, and the government, thus positioning institutions of higher learning as a critical voice in shaping Namibia's higher education and research landscape. For young academics and researchers, conferences of this nature allow them to have easy access to mentors who can assist them to grow in their respective fields of expertise. Take advantage of that. At this juncture, ladies and gentlemen, let me also inform those who may not know or be aware that IUM has a university journal, the Namibian Journal of Managerial Sciences, NJMS. It is a multidisciplinary journal where researchers from different fields and sectors can share their research discoveries. Last Thursday, the journal published a special issue featuring papers that were presented during last year's Aphein conference and were converted into full papers. Publishing in this journal does not require anyone to pay any fees. In this regard, it is my hope that you will take advantage of this journal to publish your research papers in the future. As I am Vice-Chancellor, I would also like to assure you that the publication of a special issue for quality papers selected from this conference will be again selected, those that will meet the quality standards, and published in the next special issue come next year. This is my assurance. In conclusion, let me express my sincere appreciation to the conference organizing committee for working very hard to make sure that this conference achieves its intended goal. I also thank the Aphein Executive Committee under the visionary leadership of Honorable Professor Dr. David Richard Namwandi for providing us financial support and the needed commitment, which has always ensured us that any Aphein initiatives are implemented successfully. I will fail in my duty if I don't thank you, dear participants, for having agreed to be here and contribute towards advancing research excellence. Let us make this year's conference the most impactful and memorable ever. Once again, I welcome you to this conference, and may you get the best out of it. Thank you.
Shall we give another round of applause to Prof? Thank you very much, Prof, for making us feel at home. Everybody, you have been welcomed, and please feel at home. We have a number of ushers that are out there. In case you have any questions, they can always direct you around. Feel at home. Prof has actually said something inspiring, especially to young researchers, our postgraduate students, who are the majority of our presenters today. Prof mentioned easy access to mentors. Academics who are here, let's take advantage of this platform to improve our mentees' research capabilities. You know, when you are invited to come and present at a conference, no matter what, you pull up your socks. I see our students are here. Tanya, I exposed you, but she is an example of our postgraduate students who are here. And many of them are online because of the distance that they had to travel to come here. So please, let's make use of the Aphein conference to make ourselves visible and to contribute to the larger dream of a sustainable and an inclusive tomorrow. Last year, Dr. Elock Shikalepo, I exposed him when he had promised to publish from this conference. And thank you, Doc. Prof has just emphasized that that dream came true. Well done. Keep it up. Okay. Now we want to move on. I will invite Dr. Shikalepo to introduce our plenary speaker, Dr. Shihomeka.
The Aphein executive leadership team, of course, chaired by our able Prof and founder, Professor David Namwandi, the executive leadership team for the Aphein members. Of course, there are a lot of them. If you could check in your program there, the memberships that we are having, you could see that indeed we are a formidable body. Of course, leading that is the executive leadership team for IOM. You can see fully represented. You can see the VCs in attendance or the PVCs in attendance. And this is how committed they are towards the realizations of the ideals of Aphein. And we always remain grateful to the IOM executive leadership for their continued support in making sure that they are helping us to realize the ideals of Aphein. The media ombudsman, Dr. Sadrag, Panduleni, Shihomeka, whom I will be introducing in a short time. The invited guests, I am greeting you all. So I must firstly express my appreciation for the attendance of the conference. Throughout history, we have been picking up momentum in terms of the trends and the tractions that we are gaining. I'm not sure if our IT department will be able to confirm how well represented we are in the visual community, but I think the representation there is as good as here. I must really, as chairperson of the Aphein Conference Organizing Committee, I must really express my deep appreciation for turning up for today's conference. I have never seen such attendance. For that, please give yourself a round of applause. Yes, Dr. Blessing Tafirenyika, thank you so much for having kept me to my promise of last year. I have delivered. Yes, and I make sure I have delivered before this Aphein conference so that I do not be taken to account. Yes, yes. So Dr. Blessing Tafirenyika, the Director of Proceedings, I'm very much grateful to have been invited to the podium. But I'm very thankful to have been invited to announce, pronounce, and introduce the plenary speaker for the plenary session of this momentous historic occasions of the conference of the Association of Private Higher Education Institutions in Namibia, Aphein. So this is yet a milestone, and you have just indicated that it's a decade. So this is how bored we are. So I am going to introduce the presenter, the plenary presenter for the plenary speaker, and I'm going to read. Naturally, I'm not someone who is wired to read, but under the circumstances, please allow me to read the introduction of our plenary speaker. Dr. Sandra Panduleni Shihomeka is currently the Media Ombudsman of Namibia in the Office of the Ombudsman. It is a public office. So academically, he is a senior lecturer for media technology, political communication, and the research methodology in the Department of Journalism and Media Technology at the Namibian University of Science and Technology, NUST. He is a former head of department for higher education and lifelong learning, and also a senior lecturer at the University of Namibia, where he has also served as a coordinator for ICDL and the Digital Literacy Unit. So ICDL, I think, is the International Computer Driving License. I'll be a couplet. If you come to my office, I'll be using a computer, but I don't have a license. How I wish I would have attended that center. So he coordinated that center while he was at the University of Namibia. Now, in terms of professional certifications, he is accredited by the Public Relations Institute of Southern Africa, PRISA, as a chartered public relations practitioner with a member on education, as a member on education, training, and the research committee of PRISA. He is also a member of the Science and Research Technical Advisory Committee, TAC, of the National Commission on the Research, Science, and Technology, NCRST. And he also serves on several working groups and task forces at different institutions. A former teacher, he has spoken and presented at different national and international conferences. So if I were to read all these conferences where he has spoken and presented the papers, we are going to stay here the whole day. Yes. And he has researched widely and published extensively in his subject areas, be it digital technology, media technology, lifelong learning, the list goes on. So he's a jack of most of the trades. And he has successfully supervised postgraduate studies and research at a master's level and a PhD. And I'm glad to announce that he is also one of our postgraduate studies research supervisors and examiner. And he continues to do so with distinctions. Now, he holds a PhD in media and communication from the Erasmus University Rotterdam, the Netherlands, and is also hold an MBA and a Bachelor of Education specializing in secondary level. Ladies and gentlemen, may you kindly put your hands together and join me as we welcome Dr. Shihomeka on the podium. Doc, your audience are here eagerly waiting to receive from your wisdom. I thank you.
Good morning. Thank you, Dr. Shikalepo. I think I need to stand on the already established protocols. And thank you for giving me this, platform to come and address you, not now as an examiner for postgraduate, thesis, and dissertations at IUM, but as a speaker, at this specific, conference. We hardly see these opportunities to speak to our own people locally. You have seen that lately I have been, up and down. I just recently came back from Tanzania, where I was, invited by the Institute of Adult Education in Dar es Salaam to address them on some few issues on AI. Today, I'm not here to talk about AI. I'm here to take you through. I'm not going to present. I'm here to take you through, a conversation that I have just, developed here, titled Repurposing the Role of Media in Promoting Sustainable and Inclusive Society. Purpose is for me to look at some few issues of emerging digital divides, issues of ethics, and issues of access, and issues of accountability. Take note that, my office now, the second office, like, what was said of a media ombudsman, is to ensure that, media houses, are adhering to various, ethical principles, and to ensure that, their, publications will not hurt any one of us. Equally, I am also serving as a link between the media and the public. I have to start by saying sustainability and inclusivity emerged to be a key element in various national developments, and also as a key element in social transformation. If you really would like to transform the society and the way people think and act and behave, you really have to ensure that your actions are inclusive. And also to ensure that whatever that we are doing will remain there for future generations. You need to do it in a sustainable way. We cannot go anywhere if sustainability and inclusiveness is not being practiced by all of us, especially that we do have researchers here. Additionally, media plays a critical role of being an informer, a motivator, or a leader for healthy democracy at all levels. As such, media need to follow ethics when they are collecting and disseminating the news. And they are doing that by ensuring that objectivity and fairness in reporting of information to society is done, with, ethics in mind. Equally, higher education institutions, and I'm happy to see that this gathering is attended by both private and the public, institution of higher learning. And it's something that I have been, talking about when I was a head of department for higher education at the University of Namibia. That higher educations are also expected to forge a cordial and collaborative relationship with the media. You cannot function well as a higher education institution if you are not forging, creating, initiating, and maintaining that relationship with the media. Because the media will be that tool that will market you. Media and technology, apps that we have, or devices, are the ones that will make you to be who you are as a researcher, especially the early career researchers that I'm seeing in this specific room. To ensure that, higher education institutions, they should not only produce knowledge, and instill skills and competencies on their graduates, but they should also make use of media as an intermediary between them and society. So there is an element in some of the institutions of higher learning, especially by researchers, even well-established researchers, of not using media in a manner that will allow future generations to be lifelong learners. And also to use, media so that, citizens will, continuously seek opportunities to be empowered. And you will see that, my speech, I'm putting more emphasis on media as a tool for empowerment, not media as a tool, just to inform and disseminate whatever that we have. And I think this is the mismatch that we have. And even institutions of higher learning, they are looking at media as in their separate corner. Institutions of higher learning, they are looking at themselves in this corner. But if we have that relationship, cordial relationship, we are likely to make, a positive impact on whatever that we are doing. Though both media and institutions of higher learning tried their level best to collaborate, we tend to use and consume media for a short-term benefit. More than ever, digitalization created a new space for media usage and media consumption. For us as a society to forge, a sustainable and inclusive tomorrow that we are talking about here in this theme, we need to repurpose, to redirect and transform our media consumption mechanisms, to empower citizens as opposed to inform and just disseminate information. I'll come and speak to you as researchers. I'll come and talk to you as PhD holders in this country, because that's what we need to do. There are some ingredients for sustainable media consumptions in the digital era. Researchers need to use media and technology wisely and responsibly and ethically. And we have been talking about these things, especially in the era of AI. Just the day before yesterday, one of the well-known oldest, journal happened to retract a journal article that was published by somebody, a well-established professor at a certain university that I'm not mentioning, locally, luckily it's not in Africa. That article was submitted, for review, blind review, and it was rejected. Then the author, accepted, that rejection. By surprise, the same article was published by the same person who rejected it as a reviewer. So that's why we are saying we really need to make use of, media and technology, ethically. We have to do things, responsibly. Gone are the days whereby you publish an article and it's only people who will have access to the hard copy of that specific journal will have access to it. The same day you are going to publish that article, it will be seen by many, including, the original author. So we need to change the way we are doing things. It also means that, researchers, such as the ones presenting, their findings today and tomorrow at this conference, they should use media and ICT, particularly AI, and other emerging technologies ethically. You should also collect data, honestly. I know there can be one or two who will be presenting, fake data here. And I'm always preaching to this by saying the reason why most of our African countries are not, progressing well with their national development agendas is because of us researchers. Because we collect wrong data. We analyze those wrong data with wrong instruments. Because we even got them from wrong people or participants. And we recommend wrong programs to governments. And the government will implement this because they strongly believe in you. The next thing that you see is the program is not working out. Now you are out there blaming the government. We are to be blamed, researchers, because we are not honest in whatever that we are doing. Hence, media should be used, ethically. You should have longevity to learn when you are using, media. Whether you are watching TV, listening to the radio, go there because there is a motive behind you to learn something, a new thing that you never knew before you listened to that specific radio program. We have thousands of papers presented and published almost weekly, but they are less, impactful. Or, literally they are just not making any impact at all. It is one thing to collect inaccurate data, reporting falsely to prove that you were researching and publishing, but it is the other thing that, people will discredit you. And they will remain, crying in the market that the people are not noticing you. Because, there is no correlation between what you have published and what, you ought or thinking and telling us that you know. So therefore, media should serve as an extension of institutions, and we should not treat it, as a competitor. They are there. You can see them. They are there. And, from here, they are going, to make sure that, they will share and disseminate. But we should move away from that thing of giving them messages that are only, directly, educating people, creating awareness, but they are not empowering people, acquiring, skills that will remain there forever, and they will be able to pass it on, to the next generation. Otherwise, we will go to what we call educating for the dustbins. Now, what is this thing that I'm talking about? When I was talking about this thing, in Tanzania, people were now wondering, what am I talking about in this era? The incorrect usage and consumption of media and technology may have long-term consequences if we are not using it wisely. There are several factors that contribute to this. It may be caused by the desire to be seen publishing. Yes, promotional criteria. Prof. Mwandemele, my dear elder brother, universities are now, yes, like you are being pushed. I'm not saying you are being forced to publish. And since you want, the VC to see you publishing, you will end up using media, unethically or irresponsibly. There are also those ones that are using it, with the only motives to acquire certificates. And I was also saying this, yesterday when I met, the team at New Era. Some of us, we are there with our certificates, degrees, PhDs, whatever you call it, demanding titles to be called doctor. But your work and action and behavior does not reflect a PhD holder. We have seen it. I usually say, wait until your work and action and behavior will tell people that you are an academic doctor. And that's one of the factors that I listed here that contribute to education, educating for the dustbins. Because this person will be in the market with a PhD, but will remain irrelevant. Even his or her work will not truly tell us what is the solution that the person is, providing to the market. They have that academic titled disease. They want to be called doctors. They want to be called, professors. Using technology as a replacement rather than as a guiding tool, a ladder to take you where you want to be. Especially early career researchers, they completely use media and technology to completely replace them. And they just submit articles. Wonderful. Very delicious, article. But upstairs here, you don't know anything. Also, media is also used for leisure and entertainment. Only. I'm not saying don't do that. But use media for the purpose of acquiring knowledge and skills. So it's not only in the classroom that we are going to get that. Some people, they have it that owning media, working for the media house, using use of technology, that's the only, tool that they have and the goal that they have in mind for knowledge transformation. However, what will happen is that, in the long run, we will have citizens that are informed, but with wrong information generated by researchers. Imagine you teaching students using that specific article. with wrong data. What are you producing? Yes, you will instill knowledge into them, impart knowledge onto them, but it's wrong knowledge and skills. They will remain in the market crying because you gave them wrong things. So therefore, it is up to us now today that I have to talk to you in this manner. Citizens or media consumers, at the end of the day, they become displaced individuals into society if they are not using these things, carefully. Also, we are saying, if as we are using it, in that manner, the future generations, our children, they will also copy from us, copying and learning from the older generation. Because they thought it is right. There is a greater need for us to reflect on our media engagement endeavors. If you are using media to spread myths and disinformation at our levels of education, to spread, hate speech, tampering with the core values of democracy, press freedom, access to information, human rights violation. We are using media as a space to dehumanize others. Or we are using it for unethical conduct and social pleasure. We are nurturing the future for the dustbins. And this will haunt us, one day in future as a nation. What we need to do to nurture sustainable and future tomorrow in the media space, higher education institutions should see media as a partner in the process of social transformation and upbringing. We should promote and adopt, localization of research output for citizens and media houses to access these with ease. Researchers should use local media to disseminate their outputs, to inform and to empower. Look, we have this tendency nowadays, and institutions of higher learning are also to be blamed, especially the executives. My apologies, colleagues. When we are being forced to publish, outside, who is going to read those research papers that we are publishing? I'm happy that you have your own journal here and you are promoting it. You are publishing, in Turkey about how to overcome, learner discipline in a certain school in rural areas in Namibia. Who is going to read that paper in Turkey? That paper is targeting teachers in Namibia, in rural areas. Now it is in Turkey. So we really need to change the way we are doing things. That's why I'm saying it doesn't help to publish research articles internationally and your own people have no clue of your findings. Also, another thing is, higher education institutions, they also looked at media. Colleagues from, media houses, sometimes they look at us like we are, we are not that good, we have hidden agendas. If you see them there now with their cameras and everything, probably they are after something. I'm saying stop denying, media access to information for your institution. Colleagues, these are the guys that will promote you out there. When you are being interviewed as a recently graduated, PhD holder, why are you, refusing that interview? Are you confessing that, you have used, media and technology unethically? Because you don't know what to tell the media house. There are so many emerging digital divides. I'll go through them quickly. One of them now, because previously we were only looking at people who do not have access to IT infrastructure. People who are, digital illiterate. That's what we were talking about. However, nowadays we have people that are digital illiterate, but they are using media unethically. As a result, and use it immorally. As a result, they will suffer from that ethical and morality divide. There are those with negativity and the personal agendas on these social media, especially the digital media platforms. And some of them, they just have negativity toward any emerging media that is coming. At the end of the day, they will suffer from that personal inflicted, divide. Others are owning emerging technologies. They are educated but naturally illiterate about digital space. They will suffer from that system-based, divide. Some were pushed out of media space due to their irresponsible usage and consumptions and targeted motives about individuals. They will suffer from that, exclusive divide. Some they are only seeing, consuming media to be seen active and researching. We have seen a lot of professors, on digital platforms. But even the discussions that they are bringing to the fore does not help the society to heal from all the socio-economic, illnesses that we have. When I'm talking about socio-economic illnesses, I'm not talking about, diseases. So we have these. And these things are happening because of cultural and moral decay. Very much so. Cultural and moral decay is contributing to this. Also, it is happening because of higher education hallucination. Some institutions, they want to be seen producing as many postgraduate students as possible, and they forget quality. Equally so, some staff members and some students, they want to be seen being kept by the Vice-Chancellor, getting that, degree, even if they are not ready to serve the market. I'm happy that, over the years, IUM has improved. I started with them, a little bit, long time ago. Dr. Blessings, can testify. And I'm always, returning certain documents. Not that I don't want people to graduate. It's just because you are not yet ready to go into the market with that doctorate. I'm almost there. Teachers, we like, to say things. There are some factors that drives, emerging digital divides. Don't know those ones are done. We also need to make sure we as citizens have a responsibility of making sure and holding media accountable for whatever that they are publishing. Also, when we are saying we are offering all these software engineering courses, computer science, we should have our own people that are designing platforms, tools, digital tools that we are using, tools that understand our own context, social context. But I'm always equally shocked to see people who have undergone these specific trainings, but they can't even code. They can't just do coding. I'm talking about coding because I was a computer study teacher. And even when I joined the University of Namibia, I was under computer science. We really have to change the way we are doing things. It is our collective responsibility to hold media accountable. You should also be accountable to your actions when engaging with media. What I want to warn you also on, I will not also accept it when you are purposely targeting media houses. You should respect them. They have their own space. All you need to do is just provide them with the information that they are looking for. I will also not be happy when the media houses are being attacked for no apparent reasons. But I can hold them accountable if what they are doing is socially not acceptable. Toward the end, I would like to say the media has a moral duty to report ethically. The main aim is to inform with honesty and accountability, and I hope that's what is going to happen today. That you are going to report honestly, accurately. Senior professionals in these media houses also, they should do fact checks before, disseminating whatever that we are collecting and reporting on. Also seniors, staff members in institutions of higher learning, they should do fact checks on what they are giving to the media. Because sometimes you give wrong information to the media, they will publish it or share it, you blame them. Ensure that all your people are aware of what is happening in that specific organism. Because a damaged image or reputation of an institution is equivalent to a written-off vehicle that was involved in an accident. You will not be able to repair it so easily if you let your image or reputation of the institution or yourself as a professional to be damaged in that manner. The key takeaways on this is the last slide. There's a need for localized strategies that prioritize media education, training, and ongoing support to harness technology's potential for positive changes. We cannot empower citizens without media. Media will remain irrelevant in the absence of well-crafted education system aiming at forging sustainability and inclusiveness in the digital space. We should invest in our local talents, and we should not only invest, but we should have trust in our local talents. We should respect values of democracy, the ones that I have mentioned: press freedom, access to information, human rights, dignity for others. Institutions of higher learning must continuously transform their curriculums and collaborate with the media as partners in the national development agendas. Let us use and consume media with a purpose. Look, I am saying use and consume media with a purpose, aiming at building and nurturing a sustainable and inclusive society with morals, and a society that can hold itself accountable for their actions and behavior. With that, I think I have spoken enough, and you can always see me at my office at NAST. Thank you so much.
Doctor, I have so much to say. Thank you for explaining who you are. This is a man who is very frank and an all-rounder, like what Dr. Shikalepo said. And I also used to have so many questions about him. But I think through his address, I am answered. He's a tough examiner. Okay, another hand for the media. The media, they write our stories through their lens, but through his address, I've learned it's not just writing through the lens, but writing ethically. Yes, and we have just been educated that media is there to protect us from being hurt with what goes out there. So I'm so happy, Doctor. Thank you very much for speaking to us as the public, assuring us the protection that your office has for us. Thank you for also speaking to us as researchers. Researchers, the truth, only the truth. Let's not cook data. Let's not manipulate things to speak to what we want. And that's a very good advice, especially given the setup where we are, a conference to bring knowledge to people. And I have learned something new. Educating for the dustbins. We are all educators, and I think we are challenged. We should always think of the future. What we are producing today, where are we heading? Are we heading for the dustbins? So that really has brought so much motivation to make sure we are seeding quality that will change the future. Thank you very much, Doctor. As you were speaking about technology being abused as a replacement instead of being a guiding tool, I thought of the recent article that I saw in the newspapers of Deloitte in Australia. Yes, which has lost millions, if we are speaking in terms of rands, simply because of a report which was AI generated. So when I read that, I'm like, where are we going if such professionals who are expected to really do things ethically have reached an extent of just submitting to AI and AI brings the report? So it triggered me. It also spoke volumes, especially to us, to say technology should be a guiding tool, but not a replacement. You can't replace human intellect with technology. So let's safeguard our intellect jealously, especially as academics. Thank you very much, Doctor, for your speaking. And I'm sure we would love to hear from him more. Our radio is here. What about thinking of giving him a session, not to speak to the conference, but to the nation? I'm sure that will be good. Everybody wants to hear from you. Okay. Esteemed colleagues, conference attendees, and our respected Aphein representatives and leaders, we come to the end of our plenary session and would like to conclude this session by just having a beautiful photo as evidence of what we have done. So I'll ask Dr. Shikalepo to come and guide us on how we can have that photo shoot. Make sure you are included. The media is here to ensure inclusivity. So everybody, please be captured.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, Dr. Tafirenyika, for me again to stand on the podium. So, you know, how do we know that the conference indeed took place if we don't have graphic records that we can refer to? So it only now becomes necessary that we must have a group photo. I know the hall is packed to the rafter, but we are going to try each and every one to be part of the photo. Usually we have to exit, and in the interest of Tunana, I think that is where we need to go and line up for the photo. And then after the photo session, I think our colleagues, they have set up the tea for us. And then after tea, then we are going to start with the breakaway sessions. So I think we are having the program. So please let us try to see the programs and the presentations that are there and those that interest you and the venues and also the link, because each of the breakaway sessions have their own Zoom links so that everyone is catered. So for now, I may request that we allow the executives to exit first, and then all of us will then follow, and then in front of Tunana here, our marketing department, I think they're going to lead us on how we are going to line up for the group photo. With that said, we may now please wait the executives to exit, and then we follow. Thank you.